Epic stories in the Roman-Germanic Wars. The Roman-Germanic Wars were not just a series of military engagements. They were also a rich tapestry of heroic deeds, betrayals, strategic brilliance, and survival against overwhelming odds. The warriors, generals, and chieftains who fought in these wars became legends, their stories inspiring generations. From the rise of the great Germanic hero Arminius to the dramatic collapse of the Western Roman Empire, the clashes between Rome and the Germanic tribes left behind a legacy of stories that resonate throughout history. Here, we explore some of the most epic stories from the Roman-Germanic Wars, highlighting pivotal events, legendary heroes, and the clash of two worlds. 1. Arminius and the victory at Teutoburg Forest, 9 AD. Key figures: Arminius, Germania. Publius Quinctilius Varus, Rome. Outcome: Germanic victory. The Battle of Teutoburg Forest is one of the most legendary episodes in the Roman-Germanic Wars. Arminius, a Germanic chieftain who had once been a Roman auxiliary officer, led a coalition of Germanic tribes to annihilate 3 Roman legions under the command of Varus. The betrayal: Arminius had served in the Roman military and knew Roman tactics inside and out. He used this knowledge to deceive Varus, luring the Romans into the dense Teutoburg Forest, where the heavy Roman formations were ill-suited for the terrain. Arminius' forces surrounded and crushed the Roman legions, causing massive casualties. The aftermath: the Romans lost 3 legions in a single day, a devastating blow to the Roman Empire. The eagle standards, symbols of Roman military pride, were lost, and the empire's ambitions to conquer Germania were brought to an end. Legacy: Arminius became a national hero for the Germanic tribes, celebrated as the one who led the fight for freedom against Rome. His victory in the Teutoburg Forest would become a symbol of resistance and defiance against the might of an empire. 2. Julius Caesar's conquest of Gaul and the Germanic encounter, 58 to 50 BC. Key figures: Julius Caesar, Rome. Ariovistus, Suebi, the Helvetii. Outcome: Roman victory. Although Julius Caesar is best known for his conquest of Gaul, his campaigns also brought him into direct conflict with the Germanic tribes. The Helvetii, a Celtic tribe, attempted to migrate through Gaul in 58 BC, and Caesar moved swiftly to intercept them. He also confronted Ariovistus, a Germanic king, in order to solidify Roman control over Gaul. The bridge over the Rhine. In 55 BC, Caesar crossed the Rhine River to confront the Suebi led by Ariovistus, demonstrating his ability to bring Roman might into the heart of Germanic lands. He built a bridge across the river in record time, and upon defeating Ariovistus, he sent a message to the Germanic tribes that Rome could strike anywhere, even across the river. The encounter with the Helvetii. When the Helvetii attempted to migrate through Roman territory, Caesar decisively defeated them, forcing their return home. This action cemented his reputation as a ruthless and brilliant military strategist. Legacy: Caesar's success in these campaigns marked the expansion of Roman influence over the Germanic tribes and demonstrated his ability to manage complex military campaigns across multiple fronts. His victories in Gaul and against the Germanic tribes helped lay the foundation for his eventual rise to power. 3. The resilience of Germanicus. Revenge for Teutoburg, 14 to 16 AD. Key figures: Germanicus, Rome. Arminius, Germania. Outcome: mixed results. Roman pride restored. After the catastrophic defeat at Teutoburg Forest, Germanicus, the nephew of Emperor Tiberius, was tasked with avenging the loss. His campaigns were aimed not only at punishing the Germanic tribes but also at recovering the lost eagle standards and restoring Roman honor. The retaliatory campaigns. Germanicus led several brilliantly executed raids into Germanic territory, including the Battle of Idistavizo, where he defeated the forces of Arminius and recovered 2 of the lost Roman eagles. He showed exceptional leadership, often leading his troops personally, even when facing harsh conditions and fierce resistance. The March of Tears. Germanicus was not only a military leader but a figure of Roman virtue and resolve. His soldiers, inspired by his leadership, managed to recover some of the pride lost after Teutoburg. But despite these victories, Germanicus was unable to decisively defeat Arminius or reassert full Roman control over Germania. Legacy. Germanicus became a legendary figure in Roman history. Though his campaigns were ultimately inconclusive in terms of territorial conquest, they restored Roman confidence and showed the resilience of the Roman spirit in the face of great setbacks. 4. The Visigothic sack of Rome, 410 AD. Key figures: Alaric I, Visigoths. Honorius, Rome. Outcome: Visigothic victory. The sack of Rome by Alaric I and the Visigoths in 410 AD marked one of the darkest days in Roman history and an epic turning point in the decline of the Western Roman Empire. Alaric had led his people, driven from their homelands by the Huns, into Roman territories, demanding land and recognition from the empire. After failed negotiations with Emperor Honorius, Alaric's forces laid siege to the city. The siege. After months of negotiations and famine in the city, the Visigoths breached Rome's walls. They looted and plundered the city for 3 days, taking treasures and enslaving Romans, though they spared the lives of many, including the Christian churches. The aftermath. The sack of Rome was a psychological blow to the Roman Empire, as it shattered the myth of Rome's eternal invulnerability. The city, once the greatest power in the world, was now helpless before a barbarian tribe. Legacy. Alaric's sack of Rome was a key event in the decline of the Western Roman Empire. Although Rome would continue for several more decades, the event underscored the growing power of the Germanic tribes and foreshadowed the eventual collapse of Roman rule in the West. 4. The Visigothic sack of Rome, 410 AD. Key figures: Alaric I, Visigoths. Honorius, Rome. Outcome: Visigothic victory. The sack of Rome by Alaric I and the Visigoths in 410 AD marked one of the darkest days in Roman history and an epic turning point in the decline of the Western Roman Empire. Alaric had led his people, driven from their homelands by the Huns, into Roman territories, demanding land and recognition from the empire. After failed negotiations with Emperor Honorius, Alaric's forces laid siege to the city. The siege. After months of negotiations and famine in the city, the Visigoths breached Rome's walls. They looted and plundered the city for 3 days, taking treasures and enslaving Romans, though they spared the lives of many, including the Christian churches. The aftermath. The sack of Rome was a psychological blow to the Roman Empire, as it shattered the myth of Rome's eternal invulnerability. The city, once the greatest power in the world, was now helpless before a barbarian tribe. Legacy. Alaric's sack of Rome was a key event in the decline of the Western Roman Empire. Although Rome would continue for several more decades, the event underscored the growing power of the Germanic tribes and foreshadowed the eventual collapse of Roman rule in the West. 5. The fall of the Western Roman Empire, 476 AD. Key figures: Romulus Augustulus, Rome. Odoacer, Germanic leader. Outcome: end of the Western Roman Empire. The fall of the Western Roman Empire is traditionally marked by the deposition of Romulus Augustulus, the last Roman emperor in the West, by Odoacer, a Germanic chieftain. Odoacer's rise marked the official end of Roman rule in the West, but it also ushered in the era of Germanic kingdoms. The final deposition. Odoacer, who had been a leader of the Roman Foederati, barbarian allies, took control of Italy, deposing the young Romulus Augustulus and sending the imperial regalia to the Eastern Roman Emperor, thus symbolically ending the Western Roman Empire. The impact. Though the Eastern Roman Empire, Byzantium, would continue for almost another 1,000 years, the fall of the Western Empire marked the end of ancient Rome's political and military dominance in the West. The Germanic tribes, once seen as barbarian invaders, now ruled large parts of the former Roman territories. Legacy. The fall of the Western Roman Empire marked the dawn of the Middle Ages, with Germanic kingdoms like the Visigoths, Ostrogoths, and Franks carving out new kingdoms from the Roman ruins. The legacy of Rome, however, would live on through Roman law, Christianity, and the idea of empire itself. 6. The final stand of the Romans, the Battle of Chalons, 451 AD. Key figures: Flavius Aetius, Rome. Attila the Hun, Huns. Theodoric I, Visigoths. Outcome: Roman-Germanic victory. The Battle of Chalons, also known as the Battle of the Catalonian Plains, was a final stand for the Romans and their Visigothic allies against Attila the Hun, one of history's most feared conquerors. The alliance. In 451 AD, Flavius Aetius, the Roman general, formed a crucial alliance with the Visigoths under Theodoric I to stop Attila's advance into Western Europe. Attila's forces, which had been ravaging Gaul, faced a combined Roman-Visigothic army at Chalons. The battle was fierce, with heavy losses on both sides. Though the Visigoths and Romans fought with determination, Attila's army was eventually repelled, marking the end of his western expansion. Legacy. While Attila the Hun was forced to retreat, his forces were never fully destroyed, and his raids continued to weaken the Roman Empire. Nevertheless, the Roman-Visigothic coalition at Chalons demonstrated the resilience of the Roman military, even in its twilight years. Conclusion. The epic stories of Rome versus Germania. The epic stories of the Roman-Germanic wars are a fascinating mix of heroic resistance, betrayals, and shifting power dynamics that reshaped the course of European history. From the heroic victory of Arminius at Teutoburg Forest to the final collapse of the Western Roman Empire in 476 AD, these tales of conflict illustrate the resilience of the Germanic tribes and the ultimate transformation of Europe from the ancient Roman world to the medieval age. Would you like to explore any specific story in more detail or learn about the